All right. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining today's session. Today we'll be looking at software testing. But before we dive in deep, I'll introduce myself, tell you a bit about the company, about myself, and I've got a few slides to share. After that, I'll invite the facilitator. If you are to enroll, that will take you on the journey. It will shed more light into the life of a software tester. So without further ado, let's get started. So my name is Akin Oladeji, and I happen to be the founder of Learn with Pride. Learn with Pride is a UK company, and the sole purpose we are here is to help people, that wants to transition from non-IT background or non-technical background into the IT space. So we run like 8 different trainings ranging from project management to Scrum Master, business analysis, data analysis, software testing, just to name a few. And all our trainings, are practical trainings, hands-on job training. If you are to secure a role tomorrow, what you'll be doing on that role. Please hold on 1 second for me, please. 1 second, please. Yeah, sorry about that. So the sole purpose of the training is if you are to land a role tomorrow, how are you going to survive on that role? So it's like a day in the life of a software tester. All you need to know to actually secure that role. That is the training. That is what you are going to get on the training, hands-on practical training. All right. So the company Learn with Pride Limited has been going strong for the last over 4 years now, and over that 4 years, over 20,000 students, has passed through this academy, which I'm going to be showing you the stats as we go on in this session. So that is that about the company. About myself, I transitioned as well. My background was accounting. I've got masters in accounting, but it got to a point where I needed a change badly. And what I stumbled upon was software automation, not even manual testing, software automation testing training, which I did for like 3 months. And after that, to cut the long story short, maybe after 2, 3 weeks after I finished, completed our course back back then, I was able to secure my very first role as a software automation engineer. And remember or bear in mind, this is someone coming from a non-technical background. All I knew before that was debit and credit balance sheet, trial balance, and all of that. But imagine someone from that, coming from non-technical, and what you stumbled upon was, you transition to a very technical role where you need to write programming language, where you need to write your script in programming language like, C# and all of that. So that is why I know that it is possible, it is doable, and it is achievable for anyone who is ready to come on this journey. Because with great determination, with adequate support, the sky is just the beginning. F Young, if you cannot hear me, please, you can log out and log back in. I did a sound check before I started, and people confirm they can hear me. So please log out and log back in. All right, so that is that about myself. Right. So why software testing, or why are we here tonight, or why is the rush to tech? Why are people, wants to transition to tech? You know, before, people wants to transition to, they want to work in oil and gas, because they believe that is where the money is. But things has changed that now where the money is now is in tech, and that is why many people wants to transition to the tech world, to one of these roles in tech. But today we are particular about software testing. Why software testing? You know, um, transitioning, to become a software tester, like what everybody desires or wants. It gives you the family work balance. It makes you have time, to take your kids to school, to fix your car at the mechanic, you know. There's good pay as well. And one good thing is every year there's a salary increment, no matter how small it is. So even if you start with £30,000, at the end next year you can never be on £30,000. It might rise to 32,000, depending on how much the company makes, you know. So you are not on one spot. There's a career progression. You have the ability to work remotely, right? It doesn't matter your background, it doesn't matter your location. Once you acquire the right skills, once you acquire, the right knowledge, you can start applying for jobs, any part of the world. So location or country is no longer a barrier when it comes to, tech world, right? All that is important is for you to get the right skills, and you can start applying for jobs, especially those. So you don't need, um, for example, those in Nigeria or Africa, you can start applying for jobs in countries like Malta, Canada, and they will take you, once you know what you are doing, once you can defend what they will take you. And the reason they will take you is because companies are looking to save money as well. They are looking to save cost. How or why? If they are to recruit someone, let's say in the US, they are looking for a software tester, and they know in the US, if they should get someone, it's going to cost them, let's say $600 or $700 per day to pay that person. But they know equally they can get someone as equally good as that person, if they should look elsewhere to, like, let's say Asia or Africa. So when they come to Africa or someone applied from Africa, instead of them paying $600 per day, they can offer $150 a day. Let's use someone in Nigeria, for example, and they offer you $150 a day. That is over 200,000, if you are to convert it, that you are getting per day. 200,000 naira times 20 days. That is what you are getting per month. So you are making it, it's a win-win for both parties. The other party, the company is saving $450. And you, when you convert the money they are paying you as well, it's still a good money when you convert it to your local currency as well. So it's a win-win on both parties. So that is why, the very right time to transition is actually now, because I know a couple of people that are doing 2, 3 jobs together as a software tester, and none of them has ever worked beyond 5 o'clock. Why? Because when you work in tech, you learn how to work smart. Most of us, we work hard for our money, but when you work in tech and you've mastered your craft, you start, you know how to work smart. And when you start working smart, you realize that, you know what, you are doing something, but it come easy to you, and they are paying you real well. That is why you are different to, if I should use, pardon me, a doctor, for example. There's no way a doctor can work remotely. He has to physically go into work and do the shift, whether 12-hour shift or 13-hour shift. So even some of them might not get to see their kids maybe for like 5 days. Why? Because before the kids wakes up, they're already off. Before they come back from work, the kids are already sleeping. So the kids might not even get to see the parents till weekend. You don't want that. So that is why people are looking for flexibility, something that can work with their own timing as well, and you are in the right place, because this will give you all that you require in terms of money, in terms of flexibility, in terms of working remotely at the comfort of your home. Transitioning will give you all that. All right, so that is that about that. So I've got a few slides to quickly go through, and yeah. So why software testing? One of the reasons is because it's highly paid. Back then when I transitioned, as a newbie, although they didn't know I was a newbie, Back then, my very first salary, my very first package per annum, I think was 50,000 or 55,000 as in back then. Why? Because I mastered my craft before I started applying for job. The road might not be easy. It takes a lot of determination to come on this journey. Once you are determined and you know what, come rain, come shine, come any difficulties that I might face on this journey, I'm not going to back down. If you have that mentality, if you've configured your mind in that direction, you know, sky is just the beginning. You can achieve anything you set your mind to achieve. Right. So it's one of the, it's one of the highest paid out there as well. You can get really well paid. If you're considering a permanent role, the average, you know, it's around 45, 50,000. But if you are considering a contract role, maybe 300 pounds a day, 350 pounds a day, 400 pounds a day, it all depends. Imagine getting 400 pounds a day. That is like 8,000 pounds a month. And even if the contract is for 6 months, that is still a lot of money at the end of the day. Using UK as a point of reference, majority in the UK, their salary ranges 60%. The salary ranges from 18,000 pounds to 35,000. That is the bracket that majority falls in, even in the UK. David, audio is not loud. Once again, please, now, if you can hear me loud and clear, please drop one on the chat again. If you can hear me loud and clear, please drop one on the chat. If you can do that quickly, please. If you can hear me loud and clear, please drop one on the chat. All right, so people can hear me. So if you cannot hear me clearly, please check your device. It's not coming from my own side. So David, please check your device. Others can hear me, and if others can hear me, that means everything is fine. Everything is fine from my side. So David, please check your device or log out and log back in. All right. So it's clear and loud. Oh, okay. Thanks for calling me. All right. So that's the bracket that majority falls, even in the UK, between 18,000 and 35,000. And you, after 4 months of completing a program, you can earn 45, 50,000, or you can earn 6,000 a month. That is a lot of money. That means you are even outside the 60%, the majority earning low in the UK. Also, there's an opportunity, but this doesn't really matter again, because even without the sponsorship, you know, okay, let me start with the sponsor. It falls under the shortage of skilled worker in the UK, meaning wherever you are, whether in Nigeria, in Ghana, in South Africa, and you apply to this particular company, they liked you, you did well, they can apply for a visa, sponsorship visa for you from your home country for you to come to the UK. But you don't even need to rely on this. Why? Because you can secure a remote job without leaving your country. You can start earning hard currency without even leaving the shore of your country. That is the advantage, or that is one of the advantages this brings your way. Once you acquire the right skills and knowledge, the sky is just the beginning. All right. I said this earlier on as well. You can work remotely from any part of the world. It doesn't matter where you live. And also, why on this point, it doesn't matter what you studied in school as well. And it doesn't matter what you've been doing for the last 10, 15 years, whether you've been working as a security officer or as a customer service officer, or you studied language in school or geography. It doesn't matter. Any transitioning journey, all that matters, all that is required is your determination, is your willingness to learn. Once you can have those, then you can achieve anything you set your mind to achieve. All right. So as I said, you can work remotely from anywhere. You can work for a company in Malta, in Ireland, in the UK, in Canada. It depends. You can spread your wings and fly to wherever you want to fly. But before you can start flying, you need to do the due diligence. You need to pay the dues. You need to embark, on a journey that will sharpen you, so that you can start competing with people who has been doing it for the last 2, 3 years. And that is what our training is designed to do for you. It will shape you in such a way that after the duration of the program, you can apply for jobs. You can compete with those who has been doing it in the industry for the last 2, 3 years, because there is no aspect of testing that will not be covered. I'm going to come to that one in a bit. And it's in high demand. It is very much in high demand, and that is why you see people doing 2 jobs together. If it's not in high demand, you won't see such. So that means they are waiting for people like you to come on board, and take such roles. There are jobs, you know. You can become a manual tester. You can become a performance tester. You can become an automation tester. You can become a mobile tester. These are all the trainings that you are going to get on this journey. And I can confidently say this as well. There is no other training organizations out there with the package that we have. You cannot get such out there. You can never. By the time I explain the package we have, you understand what I'm talking about. For those who have done their due diligence, for those who have actually, called other companies and say, you know what, we want to enroll on your software testing. If you are to compare both, we are far, far, far better. And we offer all these things at a very affordable price as well. All right, let me go on because of our time. So if you are to come on the journey, what is going to be the roadmap? What is the structure of the training? Let's go through that quickly. So the first is the training. This is a 4-month training. This is a 4-month practical training. I'm sure some of you will be surprised at what is happening. What are we learning for 4 months? But we believe in the saying that what is worth doing at all is worth doing well. And we are going to expose you to 5 different testings, so that by the time you are done, you have different, you can spread your wings and fly anywhere. You are going to be exposed to manual testing. You are going to be exposed to API testing. You are going to be exposed to performance testing. You are going to be exposed to mobile testing. And finally, you are going to be exposed to automation testing. That is 5 that you are getting for the price of 1. That is why I said there is no other training provider that does what we do. And that you can't get it anywhere else. You can never get it anywhere else. Imagine you having 5 different skills in testing. You've learned different tools to perform all these testings, and everything goes on your CV. What do you think will happen? You'll be very, very, as in you become so hot in the market that for you to have, Postman for API on your CV, for you to have, let's say, Cypress for automation on your CV, for you to have tools for mobile testing on your CV, you are well-rounded. And that is what companies are looking for now. So you are getting value, way, way more value for the money you are paying for. And this is for only people, that if you've gone elsewhere, to inquire, then you know the benefits of the package that we've put together. All right, so the training alone is for 4 months. The training will run twice a week for 4 months. So every Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., that is when the training runs for 4 months. But this is why I tell people as well, your training might be twice a week, but your journey should not and cannot be restricted to 2 days a week. If you want to be able to compete with people who has been doing in the industry for the last 2-3 years after the duration of your program, your journey has to be an everyday journey for the duration of your program. You need to be able to dedicate certain hours. I do tell my people 2 hours, at least dedicate 2 hours into this process every single day, no matter how tired, no matter how busy you are. It's a sacrifice that has to be done. If you are really sure that You want to get a role as a software tester at the end of the program. There's no cheat sheet. You know, what you see is what you get. Your input is going to equal to your output at the end of the day. There is no two way about it. So I do tell my people, if I can do it, you know, anyone as well with a great determination can do it as well, especially when you have the right support. So that's the training. After the training, or before the training is done as well, this is another thing that you'll be getting from us. We are going to pull you on a live project for another 2 months. So putting you on a live project for 2 months will come before you finish your 4-month practical training. But you are going to be working with a full Scrum team where you're going to have the Scrum Master, the product owner, the business analyst, the tester, the developer, and all of you guys are working together as a team to deliver a solution for a client. You know, a real world project, a real life project. The only thing that is not happening is we are not paying you for doing that job, but you are going to learn everything you're supposed to learn on that journey. How you work as a tester in an agile environment, the rituals, the ceremonies that they perform in an agile environment. You get to know all these things. All these daily stand-ups, sprint planning, sprint refinement, sprint review, you get to witness this live. So when you start applying for jobs, you know what you are talking about, and you can back it up with examples, with scenarios as well. That is the way we equip you for those who are truly ready for the journey. Right. So that's the practical, that's the project for 2 months that will expose you to, different things entirely. The third one is the optimization of your brand. So now you are done with the practical training, you are done with the project, right? But you are not getting calls. You are wondering what is happening. I know how to perform my role as a software tester now, either as a manual tester or as an automation tester. I know what I'm doing, but why am I not getting calls? You are not getting calls because you are not visible in the market. And when you are not visible in the market, nobody can see you. Recruiters cannot see you. Employers cannot see you. And when they cannot see you, they cannot call you. That is why this particular point or phase, you cannot, it cannot be overemphasized. It has to be done right. When it's done right, you see the effect as well. You see recruiters reaching out. Oh, we saw your profile on LinkedIn. Are you still in the market? Especially if you are looking for remote jobs or international jobs, you want to start applying, you need to revamp your CV to international standards. Also, LinkedIn, you have to be in that space as well, because LinkedIn has become one of the most popular, platform that recruiters now go to head on. So you need to be there. You need to optimize, your LinkedIn page. You have to do it. When these two are done right, then you start getting calls. When you start getting calls, then you can be rest assured that, you know, um, interview is around the corner, because one way or the other, they'll pull you forward for interviews. But you cannot get to the interview stage if you are not getting the initial calls. It's from the initial calls that they will push you for interviews, because the initial calls is to gauge you, whether you are fit for that role, whether you actually know what you are doing, so that they can pull you forward. And when you start getting calls, this is another important stage that we assist with as well: interview preparation. So it is not only about passing through Learn with Pride. It is not only about doing your practical trainings with Learn with Pride and we'll forget about you. No, we ensure that we try our best to support our students, because at the end of the day, your success is also our success. If you are happy, if you are able to get a job at the end of the day, someone somewhere will ask you, how did you do it? then you can confidently tell them that, oh, I actually did my training with Learn with Pride. That is our joy. That is what we want. So we do everything in our power to support you. Why on this particular point, let me just make mention other benefits that is attached to enrolling with Learn with Pride. Number one is you get the 4-month practical training. Number two is you get 2 months of working on a live project. Number three is you have access to our LMS. LMS is our learning management system for 1 year. Number four is the mentorship. Number five, you get the support from us. Number six, interview preparation. We want to ensure that you go into that interview with great confidence. So we prep you, right? Number seven, all our courses are CPD accredited, meaning they meet the professional standard, and the certificate that you get at the end of the program is recognized in over 60 countries. Then finally, we give you a reference. We give you a work reference for the duration that you are with us. So when you start applying for a job, you can use us as a reference. So those are the benefits that is attached to, enrolling with Learn with Pride. And as I made mention earlier on, 5 different testing will be covered on the journey: manual testing, mobile testing, API testing, performance testing, automation testing. It can't get better than that. It can't get better than that. All right, let's move on quickly so that so the company start, as I said earlier on, since 2020 till date, over 20,000 students has passed through this academy. And the next stat shows the enrollment for last year. Actually, this is half of last year, actually, in some of our courses. And the last one is the percentage of our students that are currently working, 85%, 50% in the public sector, 35% in the private sector, then 15% are job ready. What we do again is we are trying to build a community. What do I mean by that? After your training, you start applying for jobs. Let's even assume you got the job and you are stuck at work. Where do you go to? I'm sure your first point of contact will be your facilitator. Oh, let me call my facilitator. But whereas your facilitator is busy, he hasn't got time at that very minute you needed him. What do? That is why we are building a community you can leverage on. You don't have to depend on just one person. You can depend, on this community. You can easily go on that community and table any concerns, any issues that you may have. And you'll be certain that someone on that platform will respond back to you with a solution. So that is what we have. That is some of the benefits you get as well. There are too many that I can't list them all. Also we have a session twice every month, for all the students or the ones that are still actively looking for a job, to go through their CV, to go through what you are doing wrong at the interviews. Are you getting calls for interviews? Bring people on board to share their testimonies and all of that, just to encourage people. We do a whole lot of things. Sometimes it might be tools training. We might pick one tools and learn. This is separate from your training, mind you. This is totally separate from the actual training. So there are loads of benefits that not until you join before you witness them all, but yes, that is what we are known for anyway. So these are just the sample jobs that I go online. You can see the first one is 100% remote, paying between 300 and 325 per day. 300 per day, that is 6,000 pounds per month, right? And the next one is a permanent role, paying up to 50,000 pounds per annum. These are the things, these are the kind of roles you can get after your training. Some of you might be asking yourself, how can that be possible? How can you embark on a 4-month journey? And at the end of the day, you can compete with people who has been doing it for the last 2-3 years. It is possible, it is doable, and it is achievable. Your time, remember I said, you need to devote your time every single day. If you do that, trust me, you'll be able to compete for roles or with people who has been doing it for the last 2, 3 years. It's something I've done, and that is why I know it is, you can achieve it. It is achievable. Once you devote yourself into the process, you can do it. Right. So we have Easter discounts at the moment. But let me explain what you see on your screen right now. We have 3 different packages, right? Based on the one that suits your pocket. So the first one is, if you are not interested in the project, you just want to embark on the practical training, the 4-month practical training. You just want to embark on the 4-month practical training. The actual price for that one is $4.99. Right, but we have discount on it. So after the discount, you can actually get that for £199. That is the starter package. Meaning, you just want to do the 4-month training, practical training, but you don't want to go on the live project. You are not bothered. You don't want to go on the live project because that is not what you just want to, do the practical training. The second one is the intermediate. The actual price is on £999. But after the 50% Easter bonus or discount, you get it for £499. That one, you get the practical training. That one, you get to work on the live project. Basically, you get everything. You get interview preparation. You get the mentorship. You get the reference. The only thing that you won't get with the intermediate package is the CV, LinkedIn, cover letter, Upwork, and Linktree account creation. Those are the 5 things that you won't get with the intermediate. But every other thing you still get. You still get the mentorship, you still get the interview preparation, you still get the support, you still get the reference, practical training, project. You still get all of that. So you can get that for £499. And the advanced one, you are getting everything. The actual price is on £1,199. With the 50% discount, you can get it for £599. And with £599, you are getting everything. You are getting everything, the CV, the LinkedIn, the cover letter, the Upwork account creation, the Linktree account creation. You are getting everything with that one. That is a special offer we have for the Easter, for anyone that wants to take advantage of this opportunity. We only have 10 slots, available for this cohort. So if you want to take advantage of it, the earlier the better to take advantage of it. The earlier, the better to take advantage of it. The next cohort will be starting on the 11th. Sorry, on the 10th of April. That is when the next cohort will be starting. The next cohort will be starting on the 10th of April. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, the next cohort will be starting on the 10th of April. So for anyone that enrolls, before this time, you'll be getting, but the reason you should enroll on time is you never can tell. Next week, we might not have any slot again, right? And also, the earlier, the better. The good thing is the only one you have to pay cash down, as in everything at once, is the starter one. If you're going for the starter, which is only the practical training, you are paying everything at once. But if you are going for the intermediate or the advanced, you can pay twice. Half payment is required to start, and you can pay the other half within 6 to 8 weeks, within 6 to 8 weeks after you've started. So you have the opportunity to pay twice for intermediate and for advanced. But for starter, that is a one-time payment. So if you are interested, if you want to secure your spot, if you have any questions you want to ask regarding the enrollment, the best number to send a message to is the WhatsApp number on your screen right now. So this WhatsApp number, you can save it on your phone you can take a screenshot of it. That will be the best number to message for you to secure your spot, for you to enroll, or if you have any details you require, let's say the payment details, that will be the best number for you to chat up, right? But if you feel like calling as well, if you want to speak, the next number, you can call the next, that number, the highlighted number, if you want to call as well. So that is what we have. You can save the number, take the screenshot, because that number will be useful for you. There is certificate even for what's it called? Even for the starter one, you still get certificate. All of them you still get the CPD certificate. Whether it's the starter, whether it's the intermediate, whether it's the advanced, you still get the certificate. That's to Dennis. So you are getting certificates in all of them. Once you've gone through the training, you are getting the certificate. Right. All right. This is just the event that is coming up on the 6th of April for those who live in Nigeria and who wants to take part. It's a tech conference coming up on the 6th of April. You can go on our website if you are interested, if you want to enroll, or if you want to learn more about it as well. You can go on our website at www.learnwithpride.co.uk. Click on the Tech Summit and you can see the full details of the event. This is for the people who lives in Nigeria, Lagos to be precise, or the surroundings, and you want to remember I had said earlier on, you need people who has been doing it for years. You need like-minded people, network with people, and this event will give you the perfect opportunity to do so as well. All right, from me to you, that will be all from me to you. Thank you for listening to me. So for now, I'm going to be pausing. I'll be back shortly. So for now, I'm going to be passing the mic to Samuel, who is going to be the facilitator that will take you on the journey if you are to be enrolling with Learn with Pride. So for now, thank you for listening to me. Hopefully, I'm going to see you on the journey. After Samuel's presentation, we open the line for questions and answer. So for now, thank you. Over to you, Samuel.
All right. Thank you, Akin. All right, guys. I'm Samuel Lubong. I'm a software quality assurance engineer and also a technology expert. Having graduated as a computer scientist, I've been in the tech industry for the past 15 years. I have hands-on experience in software testing for 6 years plus. Currently working with MTN Nigeria and also new technology in the UK, right? So just a brief introduction about me. I currently have a master's in computer science and also in education as well. I'm a trained teacher, registered with the Nigerian Teachers Association, and as well, you can as well check me up on LinkedIn just by searching for my name, Samuel Lubong. So just going to LinkedIn, this is my profile. Yeah, once you type Samuel Lubong, you'll be able to see me. Of course, there's a badge here given to me by LinkedIn as one of the top software testing voices, just because of my unique contribution to the field of software testing. Right, so that's just a brief introduction about me. If you need more information, please, you can just visit that on my LinkedIn page. So what is really software quality assurance, or what we call software testing? This is what some people may know as software testing, but in the industry, we also call it quality assurance engineering. So it's basically an aspect of testing a software product after it has been developed. So there are procedures in developing a standard software. You've been interacting with a lot of them. Of course, all of us have mobile phone. Even the Zoom application we are using to join this meeting is an application that was developed by a group of software engineers. And in that group, they had a software quality assurance engineer or a software tester who tested that product, who tested that application to be sure that application is working as per the requirement that was given to build that software. So that's basically the job of a software tester. Before any company get to deploy this application to the environment where you as an end user will be making use of, they must first of all test that application in-house, and they have professionals who have been trained in how to test software, right? So there's various methods and various ways of testing software. It's just one of the easiest things to do in tech. How to test software is one of the easiest things to do in tech. So this training is all about equipping you with the knowledge, with the technical know-how on how to test software products. Is it a mobile application? How do you run a test on mobile application? Is it a web application that you can use just by visiting the URL on your browser? So there are ways we test this application. Is it the back end, the other part that you cannot have access to as a user? There are ways we test this application. There are methods, there are procedures. So this training will open you up to how these things are done, right from the software testing life cycle, where you have to gather the requirements, then analyze the requirements, the product is developed. Once it has been developed, it's moved to testing phase. Once that has been concluded, then we pass that to deployment. So there are various professionals that work in this life cycle. We have people that specialize in gathering requirements. All they do is to make sure they come up with the documents that explains what and what should be developed, what and what should be included in the application. Take, for instance, your banking app. If you open your bank app, you'll see that there are features to transfer money to any other bank account. There are also features to pay bills, utility bills, like your NEPA bills, and any other bills you want to pay. There are also features where you can purchase airtime, right? Purchase data. And there are also features you can also check your bank account balance. So all of these features must have been stated in a document called requirement documents. And this document is what is handed over to the development team. But then before it actually gets to the development team, it must pass through the software development lifecycle, which we have 6 phases. The first phase is just the requirements gathering, and the professionals that work in that phase are called business analysts or product analysts. So what they do is just to come up with that requirement. These are people that have knowledge about businesses and also have some part knowledge about the technology. So they marry these two together. So having known how the business world works and having known how the technology world operates, so I can come up with a document saying, oh, this is an app we are building for a banking system. Of course, we will need users to be able to register on this app, probably using their credit card information. We will need a password on this particular app. We will also need username. Then we will also collect whatever information we have to collect from the users. So all of this will be designed and mentioned in the requirements document. That is in phase 1. Once that has been concluded, the document is passed to the, let's say, the designers, what we call user interface designers, or what we call user experience engineers. So what they do is just to bring up these requirements and come up with a prototype, right? At this point, it's just them coming up with a prototype of the application, saying, okay, this is how the application should look like. We have gotten the requirements. We are now familiar with the features that should be included in this application. Then let's come up with a prototype. It's just a design. Just like you cannot just jump on a site and start building. You must first of all approach an architect and get a building plan. That same thing happens in software development. So the UI UX designers come up with the prototype of how the application should look like. Is it a mobile application? How do we design this mobile application? What will be the background color of this app? What will be the primary and secondary colors on the app? Where will our login button will be positioned? And what color will be this button, right? So all of this is defined in the prototype. So at that point, there's a job you do on that stage as a quality assurance engineer. You actually carry out what we call static testing, looking through the requirements and looking through the prototype of the application, seeing if there are things that are not so clear to the users, see if there are things that are not well or properly defined. Of course, you agree with me that some application you cannot even use or stay on that app for a longer period of time. Why? Because of the choices of colors that I'm making use of, right? So you see that Facebook uses blue and white. Yeah, we know that Facebook color is blue, right? But you see that that color combination has effects in your eyes. These are colors that cannot strain your eyes, meaning that they want you to come on this application, stay on the application as long as you can without having any problem or any strain in the eyes. And imagine a software application that has more of red colors in the background. What will that do to your eyes? It will definitely have an impact in your eyes. So quality assurance engineers look at the prototype and be sure that the choices of colors are perfectly mapped in the static or probably the prototype of the application. So once we are happy as a team about the prototype, then this prototype is just a Figma design that shows how the application should look like. Then we hand over this design to the development team. In the development team, we have a couple of engineers working in that team. We have the front-end developers, those that specialize in designing the UI interface, the look and feel of the application. Now we have gotten the prototype. Then the next stage is the development stage. This is where we interpret the prototype into an actual and workable application or software, right? So what guides this developer on how or what to do is the prototype. So they already see, oh, this is where we should position the logo on the front end. This is where we should position the field where users can type in their username. This is how the password field should look like. This is how the login button should look like. So all of this information is gathered from the requirement document or from the requirements document and the prototype of the application, probably drawn in Figma. So the developers, we have the front end. These are people that will design the interface that you as a user get to interact with. Web application or software is basically decoupled into three aspects. We have the front end, we have the middleware, we also have the back end. The back end are the aspect of the application that you as a user don't have access to, because that is where password, that is where users' data are stored. So that is confidential to the company. That is where the company logic, the business logic sits. So users don't get to have access to that end. Imagine a banking application. Once you are able to register on that banking app and you have logged in, you only have access to data that relates to your account. You cannot log into your account and you start seeing information of other customers in the bank. No, it is not designed that way. So that's why these things are actually decoupled. We have people that specialize just in the back-end development. So there are various programming languages that are used to develop back-end products, such as Python, such as Java, and Node.js, and the rest are used for back-end development. You also have programming languages for the front end, where you talked about the JavaScript, and a lot of other frameworks that can be used as well for the front end, right? So this aspect of the software development lifecycle is basically those developers coming up with the workable version of the prototype. Once that has been done, right, at this point, you as a quality assurance engineer, you're already mapping test cases based on the requirements document, that once these test cases are executed, you'll be able to tell the stakeholders that the application is properly developed and well implemented according to the requirements that was stated. Now you see that you have a duty to play in the whole life cycle, having to check the requirements in phase 1 and following through to be sure that what is developed in phase 3 is actually what was defined in the requirement document. So once you are happy, or once this application has been developed in phase 3, it is handed over to you as a tester in phase 4 for testing, right? The application is ready, but the company will not just put up or put out the application for use. They need professionals to look at the application, try to use this application. It's quite simple. It's basically you being the first person to use the application. If it is a banking app, you will be the one to register first. You'll be the one to transfer money. You'll be the one to be checking if all components that were defined in the requirement document are actually available on the actual application and is working as expected. So you have something to guide you. You have the requirement document, which is the guidance. You follow through this actual application to be sure it aligns with what is stated in the requirements document. Once you are happy with what has been developed, the application is fine, then you now tell the stakeholders that the application is ready for deployment. And at that point, it will be handed over to the stage 5 of software development lifecycle, which is the deployment stage. And the professionals that work in this stage are called DevOps engineers are the one to actually deploy this application. So if it is a mobile application, of course, we have two popular mobile operating systems, the Android and iOS for Apple users and Android phone users. So for the Android phone, the DevOps engineer will know I have to deploy this particular section of the application to the Android Play Store so that Android users can download from that Play Store. Then for the iOS users or for the iOS version of the app, they know that they have to deploy that to the iOS store so that users can also have access and also download this application from the iOS store. So the ones that has been done, you as a software quality assurance engineer also have to follow through in the production phase. Now the application is fine. It has been deployed to Play Store. Users can download the Play Store into their mobile device. They can sign up. They can log in. They can make use of the application. So you just follow through that this is also working fine on those environments, that the Android users can make use of the application, no issues. The iOS users can also download and also make use of the application without any problem. And also the web version, meaning users can also visit or access this application via browsers. Could be Chrome browser, could be Firefox, could be Edge, Safari, any other application. So you basically test this, and there are also testing that you need to do to be sure that this application is also working across all the various versions and types of browsers. There are situations where you see that application is working fine on Chrome browser, but going to Firefox, that application is not working fine. You just need to be sure that this application is working across all popular and mostly used browsers. That is your job as a QA, making sure that this application is portable, and also making sure that things we call localization, that once you register in this course, you get to learn a lot about this. Localization, where you give your users the sense of belonging to the application. You are actually trying to make sure that your users feel part of this application. Take, for instance, Facebook. Facebook has been localized in a way that it supports your local time. It also supports your local languages. At the moment, Facebook supports Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo, right? So these are localization. Just like that, some part of the world that Coca-Cola are not allowed to sell drink in bottle. So they already know that this country does not take drink from bottle. So once they are shipping their product to that particular country, they also have to ensure that they package those drink in a way that those country people from those part of the world will be able to buy. Same thing happens in software product as well. You need to localize it. If it's an international application, meaning an application that will be used worldwide, like Facebook, Google, a lot of other applications, you need to localize this. Imagine you having Facebook that is also showing you time in maybe American time zone. It will not make sense to you. But this application are able to detect your zone and also adjust itself to behave perfectly well in your zone, being able to show you time in your own local time zone. This is localization, plus a lot of other things that you learn. This is just a brief summary of what software quality assurance is all about, of what software testing is all about. You are not the one developing the application. You are not the one building the application. Your duty as a tester is the one checking to be sure that this application has been built in accordance with the requirement documents, right? So you don't need to worry about, oh, I don't know what should be there in the application. For the banking app, I don't know what features should be there. For app we are building for church, I don't know what features should be there. No, that's not your business. it will be handed over to you in the requirements document. Before any development starts, there must be a document that points to the application, that points to what is required of the engineers. So you follow through the requirement document. It's just like you being given a document and we are building the application and we say, check if this application tallies with this document. That is what you do. Just confirm, being the one to test or to use the application first and give your report. And it will also shock you that software quality assurance engineers are the ones that even earn higher in the industry, even more than developers. They pay software quality assurance engineers higher than what they pay developers. And your work is even the easiest one to do in the tech ecosystem, right? You don't need to worry about.
Sorry, Samuel, are you changing your screen? Someone said you are not changing your screen.
All right, no,
Okay, it's changing now.
I'm still here. Right, the screen is fine. I'm just giving a brief overview of software quality engineer. We're going to look into all of this. So once they understand the concept of software testing, then they are good to go. So I'm just taking time to make sure they understand what software testing is all about. Having to check that the application is working as per the requirements. That is software testing. And you'll be well paid. They pay software engineers even more than what they pay developers. You don't have to worry about how to learn programming, how to learn the rest. No. What you just need to do is, how do you install this app? How do you use this app? Then you are all set to go. And in this training, we will not only the various aspects of software testing. We have the manual part of testing. We also have API testing, which is the back-end testing. We have database, we have mobile app testing, and web application testing, including performance testing, where you get to check if the application is working and also being able to handle the expected user load. For those that are in Nigeria, you must have noticed that there are times when Nigerian government will say, oh, they are launching a platform where youth can go and apply for job. And in less than 24 hours of launching the platform, the next thing we hear is that the site has crashed. Nobody is able to reach the site again because a lot of things, a lot of factors were not taken into consideration. They did not actually simulate the numbers of users this application will be able to handle per unit of time. So we show you how to check for those things, how to actually check that, oh, we are about to release application that will be used by at least 2,000 people per minute. Is this application able to handle these 2,000 people? What happens in a situation where more than 2,000 are trying to jump on the application? Will it be able to carry more than 2,000? So these are things we check, and these are the jobs, some of the things the quality assurance engineer have to do in software testing life cycle or software development life cycle. Right, so fast forward to why companies need software testers. Is simple. For security, like the banking app I mentioned, we cannot just build, then we deploy. So let me just share a story here. Something happened in one of the companies I worked for. So when it's a fintech company where they deal with users' money. So something happened that when they started the company, the developers they hired then developed or did some things in the back end code that once, you know, when you transfer money, for instance, you transfer money to another person's account, there's a certain charge that you have to pay. Sometimes 10 naira, sometimes 5 naira, depending on the amount of money you transfer. So now that money that is being deducted for the transfer charges have to go to the company's account. So these back-end engineers had implemented the code in such a way that from that 10 naira, they are getting 1 naira from every transaction that happens. So the engineers were going back home with a lot of money at the end of the month. So something happens that those set of the developers were sacked and they brought in a senior dev. And when the senior dev came, they went through the code base. That was when they realized that something has been happening here. And that is not possible except the whole team agrees to do that, because a QA engineer should have at least catch that particular defect, right? Should be able to detect, oh, we are expected to deduct 10 naira from every transaction. How come 9 naira is going to the company's account, right? So that happens, and those are some of the things company will not just develop the application and publish the application and send it to the end users. They need somebody to scrutinize this application and make sure that that application is working perfectly well and that the company will not run into any losses. And aside from that, in terms of the users' data are supposed to be confidential. They're supposed to be stored in a secure manner, right? There are ways that these data are stored in the back end. A QA engineer should know how to check if these data are well stored in a secure manner. So that's the aspect of security is why they need a software tester. There's a QA engineer will also check if the password from the front end are well secured. You have been noticing this on a lot of applications that once you type in your password, those passwords are not displayed in plain text. They are hashed, they are encrypted, that you see some asterisk on the password field. Those are things that the QA engineer checks and be sure, oh, this application is not exposing user password, right? And a lot of other factors that happens even underneath the hood. The QA engineer checks this and make sure it's working perfectly well. So this is one of the reasons companies really need a software tester, right? And also, if anything goes wrong in that application, then the company may have to pay for damages, right? So imagine that you are running a fintech company, users have registered on your platform, they have transferred money into your system, and the next thing we hear is that that attackers or intruders have hacked down your system and have stolen your customers' money. You as the company will be the one to pay for those losses, for those lost, right? So that's why companies don't joke with this. They need testers, qualified testers to check to be sure that this application is actually secure. So we will also teach you how to run penetration testing here in this class, how to check for vulnerabilities in application. These are some of the things we cover in this training, security testing. Another one is why companies need software testers is to save money. Software testers saves a lot of money in the organization, a lot, right? Just like the instances I've mentioned, for us that are familiar with the aviation industry, you notice those plane crashes that happened, the Ethiopian plane that crashed and about 100 and something people on board died. So these are some of the losses that this was due to some defects in Boeing plane aircraft, right? Because some of those things probably were not appropriately tested or were not properly tested, that the company had to record such losses. Now, why that affected the Boeing company was that after those tragic incidents, those planes were grounded, and Boeing as a company were affected. Because once the plane is grounded, it means there were no sales for the companies, and the company image as well were also stained, right? So no company would want to put themselves in such situation that Boeing found themselves. After the two plane crashes, a lot of travelers started boycotting plane, and even the airlines as well started grounded those planes, and that affected the Boeing revenues heavily, right? So that also affected, that takes us to the next one, protects brand reputation. That also tarnished the Boeing brand reputation. So no company wants to find themselves in such situation as Boeing airplane, right? That's why they pay a lot of money to testers to probably test the application and be sure that it's working perfectly well before deployment. Another reason they need software tester is just to boost customer contentment. So once your application, Play Store alone has over 2 billion software application. Imagine 2 billion application on Play Store. So if you are running a fintech company, of course, you have a lot of competitors in that area, all right? Whatsoever business you are doing, if it is a e-commerce business like Konga and other e-commerce sites, you already have a lot of competitors. So if your application is not delivering well, then the users may have no option than to uninstall your application and move to your competitors on and install. So no customer have time for messy application. So we need to be sure that whatever product we have shipped to the end users are working perfectly well as they're supposed to. So it's only a tester that will be able to check and be sure that this thing is working fine. Then the job of a tester is to ensure quality, is also to enforce this quality. Once anything goes wrong, it will have to report. So we will teach you how to report these defects and how to hunt for this defect in the software to be sure that whatever software your company sends out are delivering on its mandate. Then the product quality is also one of the aspects that companies also look for software testers, because once they have confidence in this product, then of course this will bring in more money, because quality means more users will also want to use that. Just like most people are now using Facebook. It's not just because we love Facebook, but because of the quality it delivers, right? So we can count the time that Facebook has been down. At least it has not been up to more than 3 times, right? So that is at least quality on their own side, being able to offer us this service for this long period of time without any issues. Some issues, before you know, they quickly resolve it. It's because their testers are there to check this thing every time. And even the users get to experience any problem, the software engineers and testers already know about the problem, right? So you also agree with me that now fintech companies are even more reliable in terms of fund transfer from interbank transfer than even our commercial banks. So this is the quality we are talking about. And because they invest more in technology, that's why they are able to have a good quality product in their software. Right. So without wasting your time, what does a software tester do? Simple. As a software tester, your primary responsibility is to perform software quality testing. You have to perform a quality testing that, like I mentioned, there are procedures, there are processes, there are methodologies in testing this software. These are things you get to learn once you enroll with us. We will teach you how to test API. We will teach you how to test database. We also teach you how to do security testing. We will teach you how to do mobile testing. Now, as a software tester, you can either work as a manual tester, or as a software tester, or as an API tester, or automation tester. But the good thing about this training is that you learn all of these types of testing. So you learn automation, you learn performance, you learn API, you learn functional testing, and you also learn mobile testing. That is the good thing about this particular training that we offer. And that's why we don't do 1 month training. We don't do two weeks training. We do 4 months. So you have time to learn all of these things, so that by the time you graduate, you can tell yourself, yes, that you are ready for the job. Not when you go and register for a training somewhere and they brush you up in 2 weeks and they say, oh, you're a qualified tester. And now probably you are lucky to have a job and you go and be suffering in the job. No, we don't do that here. So this is just a summary of software testing, where we have the black box, the gray box, the white box. Here we will teach you the functional parts, the non-functional as well, the security, the performance. All of this is, we will get to understand this in detail once you enroll for the training. Then how to become a software tester is quite simple. Enroll on this course. Then in 4 months, in the next 4 months, you are already a professional in software testing. And I can assure you there are jobs, right? If there are no jobs, there's no way one person will be doing 5 jobs. I can tell you that I'm not working for less than 3 companies, and this is for fact, right? So there are jobs. That's why one person can pick up 5 jobs if you have the strength and the energy to do it, right? So benefit of this is that there's job security and high demand. You are planning to relocate, you are planning to move overseas, you just need to get these skills. Once you have this skill, be rest assured that you cannot be hungry in another man's land, because it is high in demand. Right, so that is it for software testing. I look forward to having you in the class. Till then, thank you. Over to Akin.
Thank you, Samuel, for that. I really appreciate it. Please, if you have any question, this is the time for you to raise your hand, and I'll be calling you shortly. Let me reshare my screen. So if you have any questions at all, please, this is the time. Please kindly raise your hand and I will be calling you shortly. So for those that joined the session late, just to recap quickly, 1 second. All right. So for those that joined the session late, the next cohort will be starting on the 10th of April. Right. For the session, for that cohort that will be starting on the 10th of April, we have 10 available slots as I speak right now. So if you want to take advantage of the discount, the Easter discount going on at the moment, the best number to contact is the number on your screen right now. So the WhatsApp number will be the best number to message if you want to enroll, or if you want any payment details, enrollment details, the WhatsApp number will be the best number for you to call. The mobile number, if you want to speak, and you still want to clarify one or two things, you can call the mobile number as well. We have three different packages that you can choose from. The first one is the starter package, right? The starter package is just the practical training. It's just the 4 month practical training. You are not doing a live project with that, right? And with that, you still get to you still get the CPD accredited certificate with that as well, which is recognized in over 60 countries. But for the starter package, you are just getting the practical training, the 4 month practical training. The actual price is $499, but you can get it now for $199 if you are just going for the practical training. If you are going for the intermediate, the actual price for the 4 months duration is £999. With a 50% discount, you can get it for £499. For £499, you get the practical training, you get the live project, you get the mentorship, the support, interview preparation, CPD accredited certificates, and you get the work reference as well for the duration that you are with us. That for the intermediate. The advance is £1,199. With the 50% discount, you get it for £599, and you get everything. So the inclusion, or what is included that is not part of intermediate, is with addition, you get CV revamp, LinkedIn optimization, cover letter, LinkedIn account creation, and Upwork account creation as well with that. That is for the advanced. For the intermediate and for the advanced, you can pay twice. Half payment is required to start, and the other half you can pay within 6 to 8 weeks after you've started on the journey. For the starter package, that is a one-time payment. So if you are going for the starter package, that is a one-time payment for the starter package, unfortunately. So please, if you have any question, you can raise your hand. We are here to learn together, So I'd like to hear your voices as well, if you don't mind. So while you are thinking whether you want to talk to me or not, let me go through the chat. Please, how long does the course take? Is it a physical class, hybrid, or online? So the practical class, the training, the practical training is for 4 months, and that will expose you to all testing, manual testing, mobile testing, API testing, performance testing, database, automation testing. It will expose you to all of that. The training runs twice a week, every Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. All sessions are recorded, and you have access to our elements where you can access the recording just in case you miss any class, or you want to catch up, or you want to do revision. You have access to the recording. Is it a physical class, hybrid, or online? It's fully online. Why is it fully online is because I'm sure most of the reason, one of the main reason why we are looking for this transitioning breakthrough is because you want to be able to work remotely, and that is the culture we are trying to cultivate right from the very beginning, for you to get used to how things are done online. Even when you start working on the live project will be remote as well. you know your developer might be in Africa, your scrum master might be in the UK. You're working with a diverse team, and that is the real thing you want to learn on the journey as well. So, to who asked the question, to Khadijat, it's a virtual training. It's a live sessions online, and yeah, the practical training is for 4 months. The working on the live project is for 2 months. right? But the live working on the live project, the 2 month working on the live project will come before you finish your 4 month practical training, if that makes sense. Peter, is coding involved like Python or Java or Selenium? So JavaScript. So number one, if you start this session with us, you remember me saying I transitioned from a non-technical background as well to a very technical software automation engineer, where I need to learn how to code in C sharp, right? For this journey, remember it's different testing that will be covered. But when you get to the automation part, yes, you will learn a bit about JavaScript. So the only bit that you're going to learn is what is relevant for your automation testing. You are not going to learn everything, but you learn the one that is relevant, JavaScript, that is relevant for the automation that you want to perform. I heard the speaker say you earn well. Please, like, how much does a beginner earn? Then, Khadija, so the way we equip you after the 4 months training, you are not applying for job as an intern, no, or as a starter, no. That is not the way we are building you. That is not the way we are equipping you. At the end of the program, if you do what we ask you to do, if you devote your time, energy, sweat into the process, and you will be able to compete with those who has been doing it in the industry for the last 2 to 3 years. And if you are competing for those who has been with those who have been doing it for the last 2 3 years, then you are looking at good salary. Average salary that I shared earlier on, um, in the UK, I'm going to be using UK because that is where we are based, but this doesn't matter. The average salary is around 45, 50,000 in the UK if you are considering a permanent role. If you are considering a contract role, you are looking at £300 a day, £350 a day. Why? Because you are not applying as intern. You are not applying as if, oh, I just finished my 4 month training with Learn with Pride and I want to take a job from you. No, that is not the way we are equipping you. But if you want to know more about that, you can message me on the number on your screen and I will explain better. But yes, you earn good. At least I use myself as an example earlier on as well. My starting salary when I transitioned to become a software automation engineer back then was around, if I'm right, 50, 55,000, you know. And as I said, in tech, every year you get a salary increment, no matter how small it is. You cannot remain on the same salary every year, right? So that is to Khadija. Please, are the days and times the same when working on a live project? Dennis, all right. So when you get on the live project, because you'll be following the agile rituals, right? Once we group you on the live project, as I said, what is worth doing at all? It's worth doing well. That one will be Monday to Friday. But the good thing about it is the timing for your meetings will be decided by you and your team members. So some groups do their meetings at 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 7 p.m. It all depends on the consensus of that group, right? But it's going to be Monday to Friday because you need to do your daily stand-ups, which is important. If they are doing it Monday to Friday in the real world where they are paying you, the same thing we want to practice on our own. Despite the fact that we are not paying you, you still have to do the same thing. But the timing for your meetings, you know, will be decided by you and your team members. And the good thing is, once the meeting is done, your task that you are meant to do, you can do your task at any time. If it's midnight that you have time to do your own task, but just know that when you are coming the next day for the next daily stand-up or the daily scrum, you need to give account of what you have worked on to your team members. So it doesn't matter what time you work on your own task, whether it's in the afternoon you worked on it, whether it's in the midnight, it doesn't matter. But just know that when you are coming at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., you need to be able to tell your team member that, oh, I've worked on so, I'm blocked, you need to be able to give an account, to your team members. But the live project will be Monday to Friday, but the timing will be decided by you and your team members. That is to Dennis. Ken, Do I need two laptops for learning this? I've done many bootcamps, so I have small idea of software testing. I'd like to know if I need two screen or just one laptop can do it. It is when I was doing my own transition here, I only use one laptop, until I get to a working place before I realize that life is even easier, that you can use two screens, three screens, right? But when I was going through the training, I only have my laptop, you know. So for now, your laptop is more than enough. But if you have access to monitors, why not? You can connect your laptops for you to have a bigger screen. It will make life easier for you if you can get monitors. And that is good, whether one or two, you know, as long as you can learn. That is the most important. Just that double screen will make life much easier for you because you have a big screen, the monitor, depending on the one you get. So it doesn't matter whether one or two screens, you still get to learn. That is to Ken. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Let me see. It's coding. Okay, I've answered that. Let me check. Do I need to open? Please, if you have question, you can raise your hand in the chat. You can raise your hand and I will call you. Provision for payment in installment. Yes, as I made mention earlier on, you can pay for the intermediate and the advanced. You can pay twice. You can start with half payment, and the other half you can pay within 6 to 8 weeks after you've started on the training. That is to Peter. I'm just checking the chat for question. Justice. I don't know whether you said we will be devoting at least 2 hours daily for self-training. Question: what exactly we'll be doing by ourselves? Is it like doing extra personal reading on the course or doing assignment? This is this is I'm sure for majority that will be joining, this is new. You know, this is something you've never done before. So surely, only if you want to deceive yourself, only the classroom training will not be sufficient. You might sit in the classroom for 2 hours, you know, but you might be lost. How can you ensure that what has been taught, you understand it? It's by you going back on it. So when you devote your time that, okay, let me go back to the recording, let me do, let me replicate the steps exactly the same way it's been done in class. That is you devoting your time every day. When it comes to testing, see, especially automation, one simple comma can give you headache for like 3-4 hours. Just a simple comma can give you, you'll be getting there, you'll be wondering now what is happening. And you can be on it for hours, but it is good because you are learning. By the time that you now approach maybe your facilitator, you know what, I've been on this thing for hours. I still can't figure out what is wrong. And he just pointed out to you that, oh, see, you use double braces or whatever, it's not supposed to be there, remove it. And, case solved, errors removed. Meanwhile, you've spent 4 hours trying to figure that out. That is good. Your 4 hours is not wasted, you know, because for every issue, the actual learning takes place, when you stumble on these issues, that is when learning takes place. So you need to pick it up. You need to do extra reading. You need to go above and beyond what has been covered in class. Remember, I said at the end of the 4 months, we are equipping you to be able to compete with those who has been doing it in the industry for the last 2 years. So you need extra reading. You need extra studying as well. And that is what those 2 hours are for. I hope I've been able to answer your question, Justice. Training days and time, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. I study geology and teach geography. This sounds like total package. If it's something you want to consider, that is perfect as well. Remember, I said my own background as well was accounting. I studied accounting in school up to master's level, and I transitioned to become to something totally different. If you want to explore it, if you're looking to transition and you want to explore new things as well, you can try it out. This is to Okpeyemi, you know. All right. Can one switch package later? Yes, you can. Yes, there's possibility for you to switch if you want to switch. So let's say you enroll for starter, and you now change your mind that, you know what, oh, I actually need this live project. You can top up and join the live project. Or if you are on intermediate and you realize that, you know what, I actually want all this CV to be done for me, CV, LinkedIn, cover letter, link tree, Upwork to be done for me. Why not? You can upgrade to that as well. So you have the opportunity to do that as well. That is to Peter. Ken, sir, my last question is, most software tools are expensive to buy, and are they monthly or yearly subscription? No, Ken. You are going to be using what is called an open source, which they use in work environment as well. So all the softwares has got an open source one as well, meaning they are free to use, you know. So all the tools you'll be using, there's no subscription, there's no hidden fee anywhere, and they are all standard tools. They are all standard tools. So they have open source tools that is free to use. So no subscription, can nothing like that. So don't be scared. You are not subscribing to any tools. Whether you are using Postman or you are using Cypress or you are using any tools that you are using on this program, you are not Git. You are not subscribing to Git as well. Git is, I believe so. Samuel, Git is part of what will be covered. Am I right?
Yes, sure. When we are doing automation testing, we teach
Yeah,
the
yeah. So to Peter, yes, you'll be learning Git as well. So when we start learning, we will be directed on how. Yes, 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 Ken. When you start, you'll be directed on how to download all these things, depending on what you are doing at that time. So if it's automation, someone will tell you what to download and all of that. If it's performance, he will tell you. So don't get yourself worked up on that for now. That won't be a problem at all. Any other question from anyone before we call it a night? Again, Windows environment, yes, I use Windows most of the time. Even when I was still working, I always ask for Windows laptop. Um, yes, but even if it's Mac, you can download Windows on Mac, but I believe um for all, Samuel, they can use Mac users can use it as well. Whether you are doing
yes.
Cypress or Postman, they can still use it as well.
So I teach both. I'll teach you how to run it on Mac and also how to run that same tool on Windows. So it doesn't matter what system you are using. We will show you how to run them on that system.
All right, thanks, Samuel. So I'll be telling you about Windows. So if you are going for Windows, go for Intel Core processor, Intel Core or Intel Dual Core processor from i5 or i7. If you want a full spec, you can message me on the WhatsApp number on your screen, and I will send you a full spec of the kind of whatever the laptop you are getting, what it should have. I will send it to you. My worry is getting job after because of the amount and time spent investing in the tech careers. How feasible is getting a job as transitioning is not an easy decision. If you haven't passed through the tunnel, right, you will never know what awaits you, at the end of that tunnel. No amount of learning is a waste. No. You can Google it yourself. You can go on job sites yourself, whether JobServe, Indeed, Total Jobs. You can go on all these job sites yourself and type software testing. Remember, you are getting 5 trainings for the price of one. Meaning, if automation testing is not coming, if automation testing role is not coming, you can apply for manual testing roles. If manual testing role is not coming, you can apply for performance testing roles. If performance testing roles is not coming, you can apply for API testing roles. Can you see? So you have 5 different that you can leverage on. It's not just one. So there are jobs out there. You don't have to worry about what you don't have control over. All you need to do is do your own bit and allow God to perfect the rest for you. If you haven't done your own bit, it's like you going to write a mathematics exam. Instead of you putting pen to paper, you are just reading math. You cannot read math. You have to solve problems, you know, and you're not praying for favor. Oh God, favor me in this exam. God will just be smiling at you. That how come? Because you've not done the bit you suppose. You've not done your own bit. Do your own bit. Acquire the right skills. Ensure that you know at least 60% of what you want to start applying for, and see what happens after that. See what God will do after that. You know. So it's nothing, you don't have to worry about it. The only thing you need to worry about is you knowing what you've enrolled for to the best of your ability. When I was going through that journey, remember I told you I was coming from an accounting background. I knew nothing about software testing, not to talk about software automation. I didn't do all these mobile API manual. I went straight to automation. Right? But I told myself the road might be rough. This might be difficult because it is out of my league. But I was desperate. I needed a change badly. And I told myself, you know what? I'll embark on this journey. Not only embark on the journey, I'll ensure that I'm one of the best in my class so that other students can come to me and I can use them as a guinea pig to learn more. Because when they challenge me that, oh, I'm stuck, can you help me? I'll go and research more and help them solve that problem. And that was what I did. And that paid off at the end of the day. Believe me or not, 2 weeks after I finished that program back then, I secured my very first role. So the worry should be knowing your onions properly. Knowing your onions. Then you have nothing to worry about when it comes to you applying for a job. There is no way you won't get one out of this 5. Right. Samuel, DLHS asks, can Linux be used because I run Linux on my Mac? You can run
No,
Windows. You can run
no,
Windows on your Mac too.
yeah. He has to run Windows on the Mac. So what we use is Mac and Windows.
So that is it. DLHS. So yes, you have to run Windows on your Mac uh, for that to work. All right. Any other question for us before we call it a day? So Khadijat, you have nothing to worry about. You can message me or WhatsApp me, and I will answer more of your questions that you may have. Joysticks as well, you can message me for the full spec. I can send you the full spec of the system you need if you WhatsApp me on that number on your screen right now. Any final question from anyone before we call it a night? Let's see, what is it? I have Lenovo ThinkPad Core i5, 8 GB, 16 4 gig. Can that work? Yes, I believe. When you say ThinkPad, does it look like a proper laptop? I don't know, but with what you just typed, the Core i5, that the processor is fine to me. Um, does it look like does it look like an iPad? Ken? Yes, it's like, yeah, that's fine. That works. Yeah, that works. That is fine. Yeah, i5 is fine. All right. Any final question from anyone? All right. Thanks everyone for joining. For those in, what is your name, sir? My name is Akin Oladeji. That is my name. Let me see. If you want to see my face, I was sharing my face earlier on, but this is me. My name is Akin Oladeji. Yes, that's to Khadijat. My name is Akin Oladeji. You can Google it as well. All right. So for those who lives in Nigeria, you can check out our website to attend the tech conference coming up on the 6th of April. It's going to be beneficial to you as well if you want to register and come. Um, but for others, hopefully I'm going to see some of you on the journey and we can rewrite the story together. We can rewrite the narratives and get you that, you know, equip you so that you can get that dream job of yours at the end of the day. It will be a money well spent. It will be a very good investment that you can invest in yourself. Imagine getting 5 different trainings for the price of one. You can ask around how much these trainings are going for. Then you know that, you are actually getting it for a very, very good bargain, if I may say. So for those that will be joining us on the 10th of April, we can't wait to welcome you into our midst and start the journey together, walk the walk together as well. So before then, or until then rather, I say thank you to everyone. Stay safe out there. All the best and see you on the journey. Thanks. Remember, you can message me on the number on your screen for enrollment or for any details you may have, for any questions you may have as well. Till then, thanks everyone. Have a good night. Thanks. Bye bye.